exercise all about? Somebody help me out.
So we can realize how many people drop the ball.
Okay. I'm gonna mess with y'all mind today, okay? I'm just letting you know because we had the same background, so just kind of be on your toes a little bit. But what was that exercise all about? Yes, sir. That's one way of looking at it. What'd you get out of it?
It takes more than one person and different like this.
Okay. Working together? Okay, yes ma'am.
It's not always easy.
Okay, I like that. Good point. What else?
All of us have some people all help in some way.
Okay.
Together equals a lot. One person can't do it all, everybody can do something.
Yes ma'am.
You also have to close the gap. Right.
Close the gap, okay. 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 Let me tell you what that whole thing was all about. Did you say your name was Dexter? Dexter. I started by saying we have three kinds of people in this world. Those that watch things happen, those that make things happen, those who don't even know what happened. And that was really a psychological test that I just gave you, although you didn't do it with a paper and pencil. And what I saw some people who just kind of sat on the sidelines. You see that in your school. I saw some people who waited for other people to take the lead. That's why I asked you the question, how many leaders do I have in here? Do I have leaders in here? So that kind of apathy and complacency and some kind of that disposition and attitude allows us to be limited and restricted in what we can do because we're waiting on somebody else to do what we indeed have the ability to do. So that's what I saw. I'm not going to call out any names, but I did see some people who just kind of sat on the sideline and waited for everybody else to do. And then somebody kind of figured it out. I heard two people, I think I heard you say it. Well, let's get closer. And look what happened when you got closer. It made it a whole lot easier. And that's how it is when we deal with problems. The problems initially are very large. But when you focus on it and you develop a strategy, the problem is not as big as you think it is. And you see how communication and unity and consistency allows you to work through a problem? I think you guys have this. I'm going to read it. It says, whose job is it? You guys have that? Can you read it with me? On three. 1, 2, 3. This is a story about 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized everybody wouldn't do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. Is that deep? All right, let's rock and roll. I told you I'm going to mess with your head today, but we're going to have some fun. All right. I just want to give you some statistics. And as you said about the gentleman at Harvard University who did the research, I could give you 1,000 pages of statistics. I'm not going to bore you or take you through all of that. I'm just going to kind of give you just some bullet points. Homicide is the leading cause of death of black males between 15 and 25 years of age. There's a 90% chance that a black male will be murdered or killed by another black male during his lifetime. You know, I've been hearing those statistics for almost 20 years. And I really hated to embrace that or accept that. But as I live and travel throughout the country, it's a problem. It should really be a state of emergency in America. When you look at the dropout rate, the homicide rate, I don't know if you follow statistics like I do. In Chicago alone, they have exceeded 500 murders. Did you guys know that? And it's predominantly black on black. Okay, there are 2,300,000 prisoners currently being held in federal, state, and local prisons, of which 70% are black males. 70% of black households are being headed by a single-parent woman. 28% of black males actually graduate from St. Louis public schools. 80% of black males entering prison didn't have a father in the home. That is so serious. That is so serious, not having a father in the home. I want to read some more statistics to you about not having a father in the home. 1 out of 4 black males are expected to spend time on probation, parole, or in prison. And you know the interesting thing? This may be your son. This may be your nephew. This may be your cousin. It's not a pretty sight. I want to share something with you. It's called Fathers, and I'll make sure you get a copy of it. Children whose fathers are not involved in their lives are 5 times more likely to commit suicide, 32 times more likely to run away, 20 times more likely to have behavioral disorders, 14 times more likely to commit rape on another boy, 9 times more likely to drop out of high school, 10 times more likely to abuse chemicals, 9 times more likely to end up in a state-operated juvenile institution, 20 times more likely to end up in prison, 20 times more likely to get pregnant regarding girls. That's how significant a father is in the home. It's really that serious. And since we have a predominantly female group today, I would really encourage you, if you're not married or when you talk to your daughters, that you really talk to them about their mate selection. Because the wrong mate selection could be detrimental, dire, and have almost irreversible consequences. You know, your daughter may spend the next 20, 25 years trying to unravel and untangle that. So their mate selection is so important. And with popular culture being as it is, where young girls are encouraged to have sex, you know, I work with boys, but the young girls are almost a bigger challenge than the young boys. Because it's almost a rite of passage that they have sex. Not just sex, oral sex. I mean, you name it. They're out there. So that's something we're going to touch on too a little bit later. Everybody all right? Oh, this is a big one here. The N-word. Anybody ever heard the N-word? It's never okay to use the N-word. And I have young people use the N-word like it's going out of style. And it's so disappointing to me to hear that. Blacks and others who use it are ignorant and misguided. They just simply don't know. They're operating off impulse, they're operating off popular culture, they're just not thinking. The word was created by whites for the sole purpose of denigrating and belittling blacks during slavery and on the plantation. And to see our young people use that kind of language to this day is disappointing. Whenever I see young people using that kind of language, I'll pull them to the side and talk to them about it and educate them. Or in our clinical world, use some didactic education and let them know you don't have to speak like that. The root of the word